Hey, Mystic Michaela spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. Today, we are talking about just the spiritual fatigue you may experience this time of year when the 3D world infiltrates your vibe. But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
So I got the idea for this episode because we hosted Thanksgiving at our house this year. And after dinner, we ate early. So after dinner it was 6 p.m. and it was really dark out. And Abby and I went for a walk around the block. And it was crazy. We kept seeing so many people outside of the houses on our block looking like the Ben Affleck meme. I don't know what it is about our block. Everybody must have been hosting Thanksgiving, and I didn't recognize these people. These must have been guests to other Thanksgiving dinners, and they were outside. You know that Ben Affleck meme?
Yeah,
like he's got the blue sweater, and he's smoking, and he looks like super, like just over it.
Can I ask, was there a demographic here? Was it mostly women, men?
It was both.
Kids?
That's funny. It was both. I saw women outside, looking at their phones, staring at the sky, looking just like bleak. Like just you felt on, and it wasn't just one or two people.
Right.
We saw this multiple times as we're walking around the block. Even Abby was noticing it. You could just feel they just felt drained. And I was like, man, that's relatable. That's this time of year. It's just so much.
Like you said, it was dark, but could you tell their colors? Like, was there a certain color? Like, was it like mostly red and red guys and yellow women?
No, that's a good question. No, it was a lot of purples and blues. I want to say. Okay. I mean, from what I saw, I wasn't, getting too nosy about it. But I didn't see any yellows because, man, they're in there. They're working. They're working.
Yeah.
But a lot, and they're just, smoking, and like I said, or looking at their phone or just staring into the void of their own soul.
Right.
And I thought that's this time of year. Like you just get so drained by the expectations, and it can affect you just spiritually. Like you just want to get through it.
I totally understand. And that didn't happen to me yesterday, but in years past, I've been there. Oh, yeah. I did have my secret stash ready to go. I bought a bottle of vodka. Bought some pineapple juice.
In case of emergency.
In case of emergency. Ice. I had it all ready to go just in case I needed it. Did not need it this time. It was fairly pleasant. A lot of Taylor Swift talk, which was kind of weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was real weird that Taylor Swift made it to our Thanksgiving table.
Yeah, that's weird. Like,
I mean, did that happen to anyone else? Like my parents, they're older, and they were really involved or really wanting to know about her dating life.
They didn't understand it, and they needed us to tell them about it. And we're like, why us? Like,
and it was really strange.
Why us?
This has never just happened before. And they knew the football players by name.
Right.
And then I was like going off on how because one of the football players is on the offensive line.
You mean the brother of
Travis
Travis
One of the brothers
Kelce?
plays on the offensive line.
Of the Eagles?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's what's called an offensive lineman.
I don't know what that is.
It's like one of the big guys up front that push everyone. So the guy with the ball. I'm going to do this really simple. So there's a guy with the ball, and he runs.
Yeah.
And he needs people up front to block him.
Yeah.
Like bigger guys. And he goes through the holes they make.
Okay.
And he's one of those guys that makes the holes.
Got it.
Okay. But these guys are never, no one ever knows who they are. Mm-hmm. You might be the hugest Bills fan and still not know who the guys that open the line are. But anyway, they knew who he was.
Yeah.
Kelce. What's his Kelce?
I have no idea who he is myself. I just know Travis
Kelce, and then his brother.
His
brother, yeah.
Right.
His brother's one of those guys that opens the line.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So you were like, how do you guys know everything? And they were like, is Kelce a nice boy? Is he a good boy? Does he come from a nice family?
Yeah, really weird questions.
I'm Bree and I are answering it like we know her. We're like, oh, he's a lovely boy. Yeah. His parents are lovely people. Yeah, I don't know.
It was weird they go on their first date. How in love are they? It was these weird questions.
Yeah, your mom's like, how did they meet? Who contacted who first?
Right.
It's like, I don't, it was a lot.
It was really
funny.
weird. And then my dad's like, well, let me hear a song.
Yeah.
And we played him a song, and then he goes, well, she's no Barbara Streisand. And we're like, what? Okay.
So Thanksgiving was a lot of Taylor Swift over here, which is honestly fine.
Which was great.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go to the secret stash. But yeah, I know what those people in the Ben Affleck meme are going through.
We've all been.
We all do.
Ben
probably.
Affleck and the Ben Affleck meme
yes.
at some point.
Yes.
But Yeah. So I wanted to do this episode because I feel, and I'm going to talk about this later, how each aura color deals with the 3D infiltration on this holiday vibe, because it's so amplified this time of year. And when I talk about the 3D, I talk about the ego created societal standards. So how much money do you have? What do you look like? What's your relationships like? What does your house look like? What are all the outside things that, how do you look on paper, basically, according to the 3D ego standards, which are all about fear and guilt and consumerism and more, and you're never enough and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's just this time of year is just so, it's such a spotlight on you and whether you're enough or not. And I like, how does each aura color deal with that? So I'm asking you, as somebody who has a red-blue aura.
Yes.
How do you deal with this time of year?
Well, you asked me this question a few days ago.
I did.
And the response you got was like, what?
Huh?
Like, okay. Like,
what?
do I have to
Megan,
answer
I'm not
this
in
now?
the headspace right now.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, come on, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know where the answer was.
And you just like shuffled off.
Yeah, just shuffled
and I'm
off.
Like, all right.
I left the room. Like, I'm going to do something else or something.
Right.
But yeah, all right. So now I'm in the headspace where I could probably answer this better.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I know the answer to this, but I do know lately I've been more annoyed with people.
Yes.
So
Yes, you really have been.
Yeah. We
in places where you should have more patience, possibly, or one should.
And maybe through this little quick story I'll tell, you could kind of decipher where I'm at. Mm-hmm. All right. So we went out to dinner, and after dinner, we took a walk around, it was like a nice shopping center area that we took a walk around, and then we went for ice cream. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're in line to get the ice cream, and, Abby wants, whatever, what she wants, cookie dough. She likes her cookie dough.
She's like Rocky Road with hot fudge.
Yeah,
Done.
okay, Rocky Road with hot fudge. She knows exactly what she wants. I'm like, great, okay. But there's one person ahead of us. Okay. There's a couple. There was a couple ahead of us. And they had, by the way, no kids. Just a couple. Maybe in their 30s, I don't know, 20s, I don't know, late 20s. 30s. And they're ahead of us. And, they started talking, going through what's this flavor, what's this flavor taste like, and they wanted to do all the taste testing.
They're getting all the little spoons.
Yeah, they're getting all the little spoons.
Not just one or two.
No, a lot.
Okay, they're like, can I try this? Can I try this? Can I it was over and over again. Yes.
Right, and then they had so many questions about the sizes and the toppings, all this stuff, and it's going on forever. And in my head,
I feel you next to me.
Yeah, in my head, it's so funny because Rachel, who came to the event, got me a shirt. And I just it said Spiritually Awakened, and it's a red shirt.
Right.
So Spiritually Awakened red. And I'm wearing this shirt, actually.
Yes, you are.
As I'm huffing and puffing. And I'm starting to talk a little under my breath.
Yeah.
And these people are totally clueless. They're standing real close to me. It's like
They
close.
are. They kept doing that.
Yeah.
Might I remind everyone, Scott is from New York. And you do tend to get a little New York in crowd situations. You're like, hey, you want to back off a little, mister? You want to?
Yeah. And this is going on. And I know in my head, Abby's like, boom, like you said, Rocky Road, hot fudge. I could be out of there. I know that I could be done with this in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Boom, get the ice cream. I'll pay you the money. Boom, done. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm done in 30 seconds. But
you never liked lines.
Yeah, and these people are taking forever. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I don't know, fine, whatever. But then, at the end, after all that commotion, all they got was one ice cream, no topping, one flavor.
Yeah.
And I almost lost it.
I think it was chocolate.
Yeah, it was like some
and they
bland
went and they
flavor.
shared it.
And they shared it.
I'm like, yeah.
At first I'm like, cheap date guy, whatever.
Right.
What is this? Where you have to share one ice cream? And then I just went off. I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, we had to send you out.
Yeah, so what's that? Is that...
Well, and you've been like that driving, too. I feel like this is, just also driving this time of year. You get, real annoyed with people who just drive stupid.
Yeah, well, that's also because this is the time of year that the snowbird comes back to Florida in our area around November, December. And basically, every time you get in your car, it's, are they going to kill you or not?
Yes.
Are they going to just try to kill you? Yeah. So that's been that, that's with the driving.
Yeah. I love how you give me reasons why it's okay for you to just shout out your window things at people or yell under your breath at lines. It's like I could tell you anything, and then you're like, well, the reason why I get so aggressive and angry is because they're going to try to kill me, or so that's kind of your thing. And I'm going to talk about this with Red Auras because you're so Red Aura about it, just how I see it. It's like you see the deeper point of things. Like, you're wasting my time in line, dude. Like, I don't have, we all are just here for a short blip, and you are in front of me.
Right.
Making and wasting the ladies' time by taking all the little spoons.
Right.
And you're like, you're wasting my time. And then you get like fired up. You're like, he's wasting my time. You know, I'm mortal. And who does this to me?
Yeah.
And, or you're out driving and someone like turns without their blinker, or, you know, that's true. They do try to kill you around here without meaning to all the time. And you're like, really? Like, you don't look around, you don't pay attention to your surroundings, like you're trying to kill me? You know, we don't have a lot of time here. And I feel like that all leads back to your whole thing. Like, we're watching the news, you know, and people get all, you know, up on things, or this is going on or that's going on, and people have all their ideas and stuff, and you're like, we're gonna blow up.
Right.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know if I want to go on a tangent on that. I could if you want me to.
That is a tangent.
Yeah, like, the news has been driving me insane because, you know, basically we just watch the news in the morning and that's it, like the Today Show. But I can't handle, like, they'll show, like, people dying in the Middle East. Yeah. And then the next segment is, like, I don't know. I don't even know, like a kitty cat, like, you know, meowing on a, you know.
Look at this cat and parrot singing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, what?
Yeah. I just can't handle the juxtaposition
now
of it.
Now to Al with the weather.
Right.
And then it's like, you know, it's just constant, just back and forth.
Yeah, I can't handle it.
And it's super stressful. And,
But I think yes, you nailed it on the head with that. I can't.
Your thing is,
it's just the nonsense drives me insane.
It's the minutia.
Knowing that, yes, there's like very little time to get things done here. And there's like this goes back to those NASA photos that I saw over the summer, a couple summers ago, where there's just trillions and trillions of galaxies and billions and billions and billions and billions of, I don't know, solar systems.
Yeah.
And here we are, this little blip. And here's this guy, doesn't have any kids. And he's just talking about what flavor ice cream for a half hour.
I think what you're trying to say is, if there was a kid doing it, you'd have more patience.
Oh yeah, if it was like,
I think that's what you're trying to say. Not that someone's allowed to do it if they have a kid or not. Yeah, like that kind of thing.
If there was, if this couple had two kids or a kid, and the kid was like trying to pick out what flavor, yeah, I'd be like, okay, that's like part of.
You're saying you have more patience for a child to do it.
Yeah, but this is a grown adult, like on a date, and then he just gets chocolate for the two of them. That's ridiculous.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's going to be okay.
I mean, I even came up with like a system I think they should put in place. I don't know if I can go there, but like where you'd have to have like a bracelet and there's two lines that people would go on.
Oh, yeah. You've had this since I met you.
Yeah. So like it'd be like it'd kind of be like a Yelp or something. Like, so you would, every time you went into like a restaurant or had to wait in a line, you would get either a good click or a bad click. And then like some people would go in and they would go on the good line, meaning like, we're going to be real quick. We could do this fast. Yeah. And then other people would have the bracelet that they go on the annoying line.
No, they try to do that. Like, we were at Honey Baked Ham.
Yeah.
And they try to do that, like the prepay people.
Right.
But you got in, and those are the easy people.
Yeah, I was stuck in the annoying line for that.
Because you're the annoying person because you won't prepay.
Right.
So they try to do it. They just can't call you a good person or bad person.
All right. So that's how I'm getting through this.
So I think that like this just married to you, this does amplify this time of year because you're expected to go out and you know, interact with people and spend more money and do Christmassy things or holiday things, and it's just, I feel like you just you get annoyed with the public.
I do. So I guess you have your answer.
Great.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we come back. You're going to do your discussion.
If you were spending the holiday and you were planning a getaway anywhere but here, wherever you are this holiday season, where would you go? Would you be drinking Mai Tais and some tropical beach, or spiking your eggnog after a day on the slopes? Well, you don't have to miss your chance to get away this season because you can fill your sleigh with gifts from Way. I use pretty much all the Way products now. They make a perfect holiday gifts. You know, when you use something and you love it and you want other people to know it so that they can, I mean, that's love, right? Like giving someone something that you use. And that's what Way is to me, just giving the gifts that I personally cannot do without and giving them to the people I love. I love all their stuff. I mean, for me right now, the hair oil has been such a game changer. It's a multitasking oil that smooths frizz and seals split ends for a high gloss, super smooth finish. No matter what kind of hair you have, you just put it on, and I like to finish up all my blowouts with it, and it just makes it look healthy and smooth. Don't miss your chance to get away this holiday season. Go to theway, THEOUAI.com for 15% off site-wide when you enter promo code AURA. That's theway, THEOUAI.com for 15% off with code AURA. Today we are talking about energy fatigue and the holidays, and how our 3D or third dimensional ego-driven world contributes to this. I always feel that this time of year is an amplification of what we already got going on. And it's this intense portal where anything that's happening in your life is just amplified, and it's highlighted, and there's this need to show up as your best self. And there's like a timeline in which you got to do it, and everything you've been putting off, or anything that you've been doing all year, it feels like this is the time frame when we're all supposed to, according to the 3D world, show up as our best selves with our best families and our best traditions and our best financial outlook. And we're supposed to be in love and look a certain way, and our bodies are supposed to be this shape, and everything. Like, everything is supposed to be a certain way. We had all year to do it, and here we are, and I feel like that's the 3D world's interference on this season. So 3D versus 5D, I've talked about this a lot, and you may be familiar with it anyways, but in a nutshell, the 3D world is the one our egos have created. We are in human bodies, and every human body has an ego. The ego's job is to keep you doing the same thing day after day. No matter if it's good for you or bad for you, it doesn't matter. The ego likes you doing the same thing all the time, because a similar pattern means in the ego brain, you're safe. And it's a wonderful thing to have an ego, because it keeps you alive in this world, and it's something that is uniquely human. So we're grateful for it, and it's not going anywhere. But coming to terms with it and seeing where it runs away from us is really helpful, because the 5D world, or that which your soul belongs to, the universe, the spiritual world, our soul reality, is more about emotions and deep connections, and it's about showing up in an authentic way. It's not about showing up in the way you feel you should based on 3D agreements. However, society is completely shaped by all of our collective 3D ego expectations and standards and patterns and all of that. So this time of year, it just hijacked all the wonderful spiritual connections for a lot of us. I mean, they're still there. It's just today I wanted to talk about how to get back to it, because how I experience it personally is like completely flippin' wiped out, like absolutely exhausted, completely drained. That is when I know the 3D world got me, when it got me good. So today we're going to talk about the ways the 3D world infiltrates our reality, taking us away from our connection, especially this time of year. Like, this time of year is going to be the setting in which we're talking about this. This happens all year long. This happens all the time. But the holiday time, it's a great setting in which to see it amplified. And then we're going to talk about how each aura color deals with this and what they do, and some behaviors you might recognize in yourself. And then we're going to talk about some prep work we can do and reflective work we can also do. All right. So the way that the 3D world has infiltrated your spiritual connection this time of year. The first thing is, like, literally, I was watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and they skipped over to the absolute horrors in the Israel-Hamas war. And then they went back to people pulling, like, I don't know, some sort of anime float. And I'm like, what? And I realize this happens all the time because I watch the Today Show, or I'll watch like whatever, and they're always going back and forth. But it was like, it just hit me because it was like, so this is awful, like, and I think it's just there's so much horrible things going on, and I know you all know it too, and you feel it. You see your babies playing safe. Hopefully safe and healthy and free and cared for. And then you see babies across the world in a very different situation. And it's just, it weighs on you, it's really heavily. And you think, why, and if you're me, you go down the spiral. What's the point? What's the point? It's like a flipping drop in the bucket, but then I remind myself, no, we all have to keep building our light. We all have to keep building our light, but feeling the world is it's just really hard right now. So I just want to validate that because that's something that's not going away. And it's also something that we can't ignore. And it's also something that just, and I think it's just completely natural that your thoughts can spiral to a certain way where you begin to think, what's the point? And that's just real. And all I say to myself to get myself through it, and I'll say it to you, is your light is really important. The world's really heavy right now. It's always heavy, perhaps. And the 3D world will tell you that your light is nothing, that it's a speck in a void. And what's the point? That's what the 3D world will tell you. But the 5D world, the soul-connected world, will say absolutely not. Actually, the littlest lights are the most important. So please shine your light bright. Please shine your light bright. Well, I started with the heaviest one I can think of because that is really affecting me lately. But also just expectations. Just expectations. What are, there's so many like parties and there's so many things you go to and you see all this stuff on TV. You have this, place setting, wear this outfit, look this way, have this relationship, drink this $8 coffee in these brand new mittens. You'll walk your perfect dog. Be happy, be grateful, okay. It's a lot. It's a lot of be something other than you are. And man, that hurts. That tears at us because we just see what we're not. It's real easy. And the brain is set up like your actual brain. 'Cause I looked into this and it helped me a lot. Your brain is, all of our brains are set up to notice negative and notice what we're not having and notice what other people have that we don't for survival purposes. Just like back to, caveman days. It's, they have these berries. Where do I go find them? If you think about it, I'm making it real simple. If you think about it, it's a good thing that we think that way for survival purposes, but the way that they market it against us, the way that they've, the universe has come together and the 3D world that we've created has actually come together and is attacking us with our own ability to notice what we don't have more than we do, is how they make money off of us. And it's just constant thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not it. I have to be something else. So the expectations, you could say so many things. Food, bodies, self-esteem. You're really on display. What are you wearing? Are you wearing the right jeans? Are you wearing the right shoes? Are you wearing the right socks with the right shoes? Are you wearing the right, is your hair correct? Is that the necklace everyone is wearing? It's constant. It is constant. A lot of consumerism. You're not doing enough. You have to have the perfect holiday with decor, decorations, foods, parties, outfits, friends, etc. Just watching, just because I have a teenager, so let's just face it, I like doing this anyways. I can admit this. You go on TikTok or Instagram, you go on social media, and they love to pick things apart. Like, oh, do you have this kind of fridge, or do you have this kind of shoe? Are you wearing, are you tucking your sweater in your jeans? Are you not? I don't even know what's what. Like, they love to pick on something and then tell you that you're wrong. Or by doing that, it means you're poor, or you're old, or you're too young, or you're this type of person or that type of person for just like existing. And it eats at you. And that's just 3D world stuff. And it's just really amplified this time of year. You got to have the right decorations. You got to have the right lights. You got to have the right everything. I mean, and I haven't even gotten to money yet, like what, just as a mom myself, it's like, oh my gosh, I think I do great for my kids around this time of year. And then there's always someone else who their kids got like completely cooler stuff than my kids got. I mean, as a mom, that can really make you feel, if you let it, less than, or, oh my God, those kids are so lucky. They got Eras tour tickets. There's no way Scott's going to let me do that. Also, they're really expensive, like that. There's all, it's like, again, it's just another way you could say I'm not enough. And talking about money, how many of us feel the need and may have made it normal and have normalized putting on a card or going into debt and actually trading the idea of financial safety and security in oneself for, I guess, just bowing towards a societal 3D expectation. So these are all things that are happening right now that, again, they are just chipping away at our souls. And they're creating this intense energy fatigue. Family. I mean, any issues you have with family, they are just amplified this time of year as you're stuck dealing with them more frequently and in very intense settings with them for the next several weeks. This can just put you back into a role you were uncomfortable with growing up, or you just notice something that's happening that you're not into anymore, or you haven't dealt with yet. So it's really makes you feel emotional. You don't feel like you have safe boundaries, like whatever it is. It's amplified during this time of year, and it can be really tough. And then just like this need to maintain tradition, whatever that means for you in your holiday season. It's like that is the most important thing over your own sanity and your own peace of mind and your own connection. So when I talk about energy fatigue and the holidays and how the 3D or the third dimension really chips away at it, what I'm talking about is this feeling of being completely on autopilot and completely feeling absolutely out of touch with your soul and yourself, and feeling like you can't win no matter what you do, and it just sucks all the life out of you. And depending on what aura color you are, which I'm going to get into, you may react to it differently, but bottom line, you're not feeling present, you're not feeling connected, you're not taking what you should be out of this time of year, or any time of year, because this happens all the time, but you're just not taking what you need to be out of life. So I wanted to address that today. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about every single aura color and how they react. Shopping is so overwhelming for me. I don't know what is going to look good on me or what's in style. And I get very overwhelmed when I go out and try to figure this all out in the world. But Stitch Fix completely gets me and understands this. And I have a stylist who is a fashion expert who shops for me and knows exactly what I like and what I don't like. She knows what's going to fit me, and she sends me pieces in my budget. It's just shopping made easier. They have really cute stuff too. I get all these pieces that I never would have picked out for myself because I would have been too overwhelmed to do so, but they send them right to me, and they work, and I fit in and I look good. Stitch Fix is the best way to shop for new styles and brands. You can think of them as your style partner. Your stylist learns about your taste and collaborates you on looks you love, and the more you use Stitch Fix, the better they get at figuring you out, by the way. That's what I've realized. And then you just simply order a refresh as needed or set it and forget it with regular fixes. You're completely in control. So thank you, Stitch Fix. They just get me and they'll get you too. Try today at stitchfix.com/KYA and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/KYA, stitchfix.com/KYA. All right, so every aura color deals with this energy fatigue, this spiritual void and vacuum that the 3D world can come in and infiltrate your connection to self and source. And so what is energetic fatigue? It's kind of like if we all have a battery, it's like you're drained. It's like your battery gets completely drained. You're feeling empty, devoid of true connection, like you're operating purely on some sort of 3D autopilot. And the only source of motivation, no matter what aura color you are usually, is basically like doing it so you fit in. So you're not who knows, whatever label you're avoiding that either yourself is going to give you or someone else may give you, or you may just feel like a bad person. How many of us do things because in our own brain we feel like we'll beat ourselves up after? Like we'd rather do the thing that hurts us than sit there and feel like, oh my gosh, I honored myself, therefore I'm bad. So many of us choose to do the thing that's bad for us so that we don't call ourselves bad. That's the 3D programming. It's not real. It's the thing that comes in that keeps you on the same pattern that, like I said before, is very comfortable to our human nature, but not really good for our soul. So every aura color deals with it and has this general same lack of passion towards life, even no matter what they're doing as they're going through it, if they're really suffering from this energy fatigue. But every color may experience it differently. So let's start with yellows. Yellow auras. So yellow auras, it's almost like the worse they're drained, the harder they go after it. Yellows go at it hard, especially this time of year. They'll take it to an extreme. They will push themselves in a way which is almost frantic. They can get real controlling, even more than ever. No one can help them. They shut out any help. They feel like they're screaming when they talk. They feel like they're saying yes, and they probably are. They'll actually put more things on their to-do list as some sort of punishment, like a self-inflicted punishment for having any sort of energy drainage. They're like, all right, I'll just put more on my list because I should want to do things. It's like a punishment for their fatigue. They put more on their to-do list. Blues get in their heads really about the people-pleasing aspects of everything. They have these like hardcore narratives of what others are thinking, and then how they are the reason whether this holiday will go good or bad. And they'll end up making themselves basically sick at times, pushing themselves through life this way. So I guess they're the ones that really pick the narratives out. They're in everyone's brain. Okay, if I don't call Aunt Julie and I don't invite her, then I'm going to upset Aunt Maggie. And then, but Aunt Maggie, she was upset last time because but if I don't give this much to Aunt Susie's kids, Aunt Margaret's kids are going to get really upset, so I better give more money to them. Okay, that's like the blue thing. And it's just again, it's kind of like a frantic jump into their own people-pleasing stuff. And then they can feel really victimized too. Indigos, ding, 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 sleep, disappear, disassociate, disengage, indigos, go completely MIA. The people who love you understand. They're like, oh, yeah, she's just dealing with her spiritual energy fatigue. She'll come back around after the new year. But people who don't will take it the wrong way. So, and if you're purple indigo, you probably do that as a way to purple bomb the situation. And if you're yellow indigo, that's just really hard for you. And I'm sorry. Because you're like, which one do I do? But yeah. All right. Reds. Red auras. Oh boy. All right. I had to ask my kids this, and I asked my daughter who's red, I'm like, hey, how do you feel when this is how we talk in my house. How do you feel when the 3D world's really pushing on you and you feel like really stressed and anxious to get stuff done that are outside influence things? And she said, it's like I have a thought that can't go away. And I think that's a big thing with reds. They they definitely have these thoughts that can go on repeat a lot. And what I notice with red auras is they go into this like warrior mode against society. They'll find themselves fighting with society, like just angsting over the way things are. And you know what it is with reds? It's like, this is what I noticed. It depends on your red aura in your life, but they'll find one thing. I don't know. People are always trying to rip me off. Okay. So maybe that's their red rant. Like the whole world's trying to rip me off. All right. And then like literally when the 3D world's really chipping at them and they've just lost it. And it's like this time of year, they will find that nugget of truth in every single situation they go into. So, they go into Target, so maybe somebody double charges them for something back. Look, the whole world's trying to rip me off. And they keep going. Or they go get their oil change this time of year, and maybe there's like a surcharge that wasn't there 6 months ago. Look, the whole world's trying to rip me off. So they'll go to every situation in their life and find whatever their red rant thing is, which is usually some sort of beef with society itself. And they're not like wrong. The world is trying to rip you off. Like, that's true, but they get so like warrior about it. Like, look what I noticed. And if everybody, and each red aura has like a different one. So, and they're all correct. So anyways, if you know a red, you know what I'm talking about, but they will find this and then they will just tell everyone about it. And like, literally if you live with one of them, you'll see it happening and you'll be like, oh my God, like that is so weird that you paid, you're paying an extra percentage or like, who knows what happens to you or stuff will happen to them that doesn't happen to you, where whatever their thing is like proof for them. And they almost like love that. See, it's happened again. The world's trying to rip me off. And you're like, oh, wow. Because reds are really good at reality shifting, which is something where you create your own world on some sort of like really tight loop with your thoughts and your beliefs. And this is totally happening a lot more this time of year. Okay, green auras. Oh, green auras are so funny. So when when the 3D world is hitting hard and they're feeling that income and energy fatigue, I will say I'm giving greens the award for the best able to deal with it. You guys get the gold star. And it depends what type of green you are, but overall, I would say what greens do is they start a project that has like literally nothing to do with anything. So they are mostly going to start a weird project no one asked them to. It's Christmas. I'm going to build a deck. Like, why? It's like literally no one asked you to. And they're like Home Depot, and then they're building it, and then they're like YouTube watching videos, and you're like, I just need someone to carve the turkey. Like, why are you out there? Like, what? They're just like, yeah, and you're the one, if you're married to one, like you're the one, maybe shopping, and they're out there. It could be a lot of things. They're like, I'm going to start a rose garden. I'm going to repot plants while the guests are all here. I'm going to get that chicken coop going that nobody even talked about. I'm just gonna put that together. I'm going to rewire the house so that when you switch on the front lights, the garage door opens. They will I'm going to power wash the driveway. Why? I don't need you to do that. I need you to help me host this gathering. Like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I need you to help me balance the checkbook. So I'm going to, repave the walkway. So green auras will just find some sort of random project. It does depend what type of green you have. If you have a gamer green, they might just go into gamer mode, which means they're playing their video games. If you have like a CEO green, they might do these projects, but they're at work all the time. I just started this new client. I'm doing this. I'm getting more training or like whatever. I started this. I made an app. Like it depends what kind of green you got going on. If you're kind of a green koiz, you might do something more. I've decided to germinate my tomatoes. I don't even know what that means. I just made that up. That's probably not a thing. I decided to, learn about germination or who knows what they're doing. So it definitely just depends, but random project is my point. Okay. Purples. Oh, purples. Purples are fun when the 3D world gets pressing on them. Oh, purples. Because purples are just like, well, screw it. and they just start to just go with the flow, man. Like, yeah, I'm broke. I'm going to get broker. Woo woo. I'm not going to worry about that till January. Like, charge it. They might start drinking a little more. They might start partying a little more, make some bad holiday choices. They might do some purple bombs. Where purple bomb is where usually purples do this. It's a subconscious way of planting bombs in your life. So when they blow up, you don't have to do the thing that you subconsciously actually don't want to do. So purple bomb, certain family gatherings, sometimes it's like, oh, you're not invited to Cousin Sally's anymore. And you're like, ooh. And then inside you're like, well, you know what? Like, good. Even though there's a lot of pictures on social media of what I did, at least I never have to go there again, you know? Like, so like purples, gotta love a purple. It's messy. But, and it's listen, but when you are purple and you've gone through this, you get it's tiring. And then you ask yourself, like, why can't I just use my voice? You know, why can't I just say no? Like, I don't have to destroy things in order to not do them anymore. But that's the 3D world. That's what happens. That's the influence of the 3D world on a purple. They will self-destruct in an attempt to avoid, instead of being like, you know, actually, I'm not overspending this year. And if you're my friend, you'll understand that. And if you're not, that's okay. You know, so, or I'm not going to Cousin Sally's. I don't like it there. They're judgmental and I'm not into it. I'm not going, you know, instead of that, they do the self-destruction route. All right, pinks. Pink auras, they just disassociate. I mean, they're already kind of like, all right, so pinks love a joy bubble, which is just their happy little bubble that they tend to live in. And that's different from a total disassociative state. I am not a mental health professional, but that's what it feels like to me when pinks are just extremely stressed by 3D stuff. They will actually disassociate so hard. They can totally cut off communication and just live in their own world. And it's different from indigos, because indigos you almost wonder, like, did they die? You know, when an indigo disappears. Pinks are like, totally won't talk to you, but you see them on social media at like their resort and you're like, oh no, they didn't die. they're actually posting selfies on the beach. So, I make myself laugh. Pinks they just take a different approach to things. They're just going to disassociate and self-serve. You may ask yourself, is that bad? And the answer is maybe not, because whatever, right? It's a lot of this depends on who's in the problem is when you do this in your pink, you might let the wrong people in you might let the wrong people in because you're so disassociated. You might be dealing with people who are good for you and you think are respecting your bubble, but actually are manipulating you. So anyways, turquoises. So I asked Abby, my 8-year-old turquoise purple, I said, hey, Abby. Okay, this is it's getting real vulnerable here. I said, hey, Abby. You know, I'm a mom too, you guys. So I'm like, what do you do when you feel the 3D world just pushing down on you? Meaning like you feel really pressured and there's just like a lot going on. And, you know, I had to talk about it in an 8-year-old way. So maybe there's a lot of parties going on and there's a lot of people asking a lot of questions about, you know, the holidays, and there's a lot of family and there's a lot of just stuff going on. And maybe in school, there's a lot of tests and whatnot. And she said, I'm like, how do you feel? You know, cause I'm asking for the podcast. And Abby said, I feel unsafe. I feel like anybody could get me and anybody could get into my head. So as a mother, I was like, oh my God, you feel unsafe? You know, like that's my first thing as a mom. But then I know she's okay because I'm like, do you feel unsafe? And she's like, Mom. And she like rolled her eyes because she knows. She's like, I'm giving it for the pie. Like, come on, Mom. I'm like, okay, sorry. But at the same time, it's heavy. And I thought about it because she always gives me such great insight about the turquoises from a kid point of view. Like, yeah, because turquoises, when they're bombarded with all these 3D expectations, do this, be this, wear that, look like this, spend this much, go to this party, fit in, make other people happy. They can just be really inundated by energies, and turquoises already have a tough time understanding what's them and what's other people because they can truly evaporate when they're stressed into other situations or stuff. I think unsafe's like a great word to put it, because it's like, where am I? Who am I? Can I get my energy back? Can I get my energy back? I think turquoises have a hard time getting their energy back, and they have to, and turquoises, this is like a little mantra for you. Say something like, I call all energy back to me. I call all energy back to me. And just picture all your energy from wherever it is just coming back to you. Because that is the thing with turquoises. They can lose pieces of themselves places. But yeah, and that's really stressful when you're dealing with all this. You can even feel less of yourself and just evaporate it into nothingness. And that's very scary. All right, when we come back, I'm going to talk about some prep work. I'm going to talk about what type of traditions you really want to pass down, and also some reflection work. It was just so easy to do it. I could just subscribe to this like storage thing for photos on my phone. And Rocket Money actually alerted me to it and helped me cancel it, because I didn't even need it. But you know what? I didn't know how to cancel it. And I also didn't feel like ever diving into how to cancel it. But when you have Rocket Money, they will cancel a subscription for you. That would have been a really tricky and time-consuming thing that I never would have done anyhow. I mean, did you know that over 80% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about? It's too easy to subscribe to a free trial of something and then completely forget about it once you stop using it, right as the monthly charges start rolling in. That's why I'm such a big fan of Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/KYA. That's rocketmoney.com/KYA, rocketmoney.com/KYA. I've been thinking about traditions a lot. There's so many traditions in our families and our family systems that this time of year really sheds a light on. And some of them are great. You know, like we make cookies together, we go shopping together, we wrap gifts together, we eat together, you know, we cook together, whatever. That's great. And listen, like everyone has their quirks. So you might inherit mom's, like you might inherit, you know, you might hear yourself as you get older saying something to your own kids and you're like, oh my God, my mom used to say that. Oh, you know, and that's normal, you know, to kind of inherit the quirks or to notice things or be like, oh my gosh, I sound just like that. Oh geez, you know, and that's different. But think about like what kind of traditions you really want to keep and which ones you want to drop. Is this the time of year you notice the relationship with your mom is strained? You know, and you noticed that her relationship with her mom was strained. Did you notice like some sort of pattern of women relationships in your family? If you're, you know, I mean, where can you stop a tradition like that in your life? Where can you this year see what's highlighted and be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Do you notice that at the dinner table, everyone's teasing? Everyone teases each other. Everyone's on edge. There's constant like defense mode, or you got to be ready to take the joke all the time. Is that something you really want to pass down for yourself, or if you have kids to them? Is that something you want to continue, where you tease and you let yourself get teased, or what, you know, and it's not good nature. It doesn't make you feel good. It makes your tummy hurt. Is that something you want to keep going with? Think about it. Think about what's underneath the cutesy stuff that's happening and what you like and what you don't like. And it's a great time to just notice it. Like this year, you can just observe. You can just observe. What don't I like? What did I notice? What made me feel uncomfortable? What made me feel happy? Because it's more than the traditions. It's these patterns of behavior and relationships that you can really notice highlighted this time of year, so you can take that and tell yourself, I am energetically stopping it. That's where the 5D comes in. The 5D being the universe, the soul knowledge, the soul connection, the life path, good stuff that you can actually put a stopper to if there's stuff you don't want. maybe this is the time of year you notice you're expected to fit in by spending too much. And you notice that's what they, parents did, and that's what grandparents did. So you're expected to. Maybe it's the time of year where everyone talks bad about their bodies as they're eating. Maybe we're not doing that. I'm not talking about a diet at the dinner table. Okay. Like as we're all eating 100 pies. Like I'm not saying I'm not talking about my body. That's not something I want to talk about right now. It's just, what are we really doing? How are we passing down self-worth and how we talk about ourselves? Like what is that? And our feelings of security. So think about that and think about them as the actual traditions you want to focus on this year. I just noticed that a lot of people in our life who we end up spending a lot of time with this year, they have their own painful inner wounds, don't we all? We're all human. And the people that raised us, they're just human too. And if you're raising humans, you're human too. And they're human. Everyone's trying their best, Everyone's best version of best is very different, but I think everybody's doing their best. And I feel like you may be at a different level of awareness of the wounds and the inner healing that you're doing than they do. And I'm sure there's some people that they have zero awareness and you're like, yeah, they are at a 0% of awareness. And that's where they're at. And I noticed that people definitely like to pass down more than a recipe for pecan pie. They like to pass down a wound too, especially if they didn't get a chance to fix it. It's almost like it's their subconscious legacy to give you the same wound in the same way they're leaving it in themselves, so you have it too. If they had a terrible relationship with their mom, which was left unresolved, it can project it then onto their own daughter, if that's you, and their need to act it out and be on top of the narrative and to just, reenact it. But you don't have to interplay with that. Like, you don't have to inherit the thing they feel the need to give you. You don't have to inherit their hurt and pain and their wounds. So just think about that this year. And again, you don't have to do anything. You just observe. So that's kind of like the prep work I wanted to talk about. And just along with everything else, like money, who you're spending time with, how you're talking about yourself, reconsider everything you feel is some sort of must feel thing. Like, fear and guilt are not the motivations we're looking for when we make choices. See what you're doing that's based on this emotion. So, every year I go to Cousin Sally's house because I have to, like, right there, then that's not for you. Like, even if you still go this year, at least be aware that this is a fear/guilt motivated activity versus, oh, my friends, we do a Friendsgiving lunch and it's so nice. And okay, maybe that's like awesome. Or I'm going to visit my aunt, at her house and it's so nice. We have tea together and I just like going and hearing her tell me stories. Like, that's a nice thing that you do. So think about, if fear and guilt are your motivators, that's not the thing. That's a 3D pushed thing where the 3D society, it's not real, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's the illusion of this world. That's not real, and that's not something that makes you good or bad if you go to it or don't. So just notice that. The 3D world definitely uses manipulation via guilt, fear, and feelings of worthlessness. And the lie is that if you can do something outside of yourself to make those feelings go away, and they go away, but it only masks them temporarily and then accentuates them later. And then also makes them replicate in other relationships in your life anyhow. So it's like, you never squash it. So, and let go of any expectations for yourself and instead focus on the why of what you're doing. So instead of focusing on the fact that you'll definitely feel your sister-in-law perhaps judging you for your parenting style, at the family gathering this year, focus on the joy of the cousins playing together and creating memories. So you may feel someone else and their narrative going on. You may feel the need to talk bad about your body because everybody else is talking bad about their body, but you don't have to lean into that. You can instead be like, oh, how nice that we're eating together. Focus on the thing that's the positive thing, I guess, while still acknowledging what you're picking up from everybody else and what they're participating in. So you know what I mean? It's like, notice it and then make a choice to I guess, focus on something else. Also, escape plans are really important. especially if you're staying with people, I would definitely recommend having a couple non-negotiable escape plans in case you just have to get out. That would be, I have to go to Walgreens to get my allergy meds. Usually people don't argue with something like that. You got to find something that people won't argue with, and then you just got to go. I could think, if it wasn't a family show, I could think of like a lot. I mean, like you could think of a lot of things, like especially as a woman, like you could think of a lot of stuff just like put in there to get out of there. And another thing is make scripts for the awkward yet inevitable questions. So when Aunt Sally, I think I'm using the same names over and over again. It's like, oh, how's your search for, you're still single? Oh, whatever. I'm taking a break from thinking of and talking about that during the holidays, but how's your son doing? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I do these scripts all the time, but if you have to make a script for people, and nobody talks about this, and I've been to a lot of therapy, and I try to explain this to therapists. I haven't found one yet that like maybe truly understands what I'm saying, but like if you have to make a script for some of these people, chances are it's because they do not let up. Like a lot of people, if they're asking you, if they have the audacity to be like, are you still single? And you use some sort of line, which might work for some people. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just know people that don't stop asking until you just freak out at them. I don't know. I just want to validate you. If you are like, scripts don't work, Aunt Sally's relentless, and I'm sorry because I know an Aunt Sally or two, but try to make the scripts. Try to make the scripts. Try to have plans. I don't know. Oh my God. It's all coming back to me, all the ways I've gotten out of things. All right. So holidays are over, right? It's January 2nd. Let's think about that. Why is this so darn stressful? Don't just put it in a bag and be like, whoa, thank God that's over. And then, put it on repeat next year. Put it on repeat for the 2024 season. No. All right. Think about all the dynamics that you've just dealt with friends and family and yourself. Think about how it affects you daily. Even think about how it affects you in other relationships that have nothing to do with them. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your career, like anything. Think about why you feel this need to push yourself or do the thing you don't feel like doing. How much does the 3D world have control over you? Is it a lot? Is it a little? What is this? Just think about it. Because I feel like if you can think about it, if you can think about it with an honest inventory of what you can do to improve it, it's going to help you overall in your own relationship with the 5D, your relationship with Source himself. And the more you notice the 3D world infiltrations, the more you'll be like, ooh, okay, like I acknowledge that because it's not going anywhere, but I can't let it, or I'm not going to let it affect me in the same way. And when I need a break, or when I need to just nap all day, or when I need to say no to the thing because it's too much, I'll listen to myself because I put me first and my health first. So I just wanted to give you guys permission to take a beat and that's it. Take a beat, like literally take a beat from the holiday party by going outside for a while, and take a beat in your life and just be like, where else is this bugging me? The holidays, they just sneak up on you. They are here. It is time. And it is important to get on top of your gift giving now. And Osea has taken all the guesswork out of what to give your people on your list with their Super Glow body set. What is this? It's a limited edition box set featuring 3 of Osea's best-selling body care products. A full-size Undaria LJ body oil, the Undaria cleansing body polish, and a travel-sized Undaria LJ body butter. And it's all packed in a box so beautiful you can skip the gift wrapping. It's a perfect gift for anyone, including yourself, which is what I do. I gave an Osea gift set to myself, and I was so happy, and I was very pleased with that choice that I did for me. I love their Super Glow body set because before Osea, I didn't understand. It's not just about your face. It's about your whole body, too. And with their Super Glow Body Set, you can use the Undaria Cleansing Body Polish to just get off all that gross, dead skin so that the body oil, their Undaria Algae Body Oil, can actually hydrate. And you put that body oil on, my skin just soaks it up. It's amazing to watch. And you can give the gift of glow this holiday season with clean vegan skincare from Osea. And right now we have a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code KYA at OseaMalibu.com. Head to Osea, O-S-E-A, Malibu.com and use code KYA for 10% off. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
So over on the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family, we got this anonymous post that I feel like really highlights how the 3D can come and infiltrate a marriage this time of year and make the holidays even more stressful due to 3D expectations. And so I'll read it. Okay. So I think it's a wife and a husband. All right. So the wife's writing, I am purple and trying not to throw a purple bomb, but the holidays are really stressing me out. Maybe my blue to go is so turned off by the buying of gifts for people we never see out of obligation. Even though we barely know them and do not see them during the holidays, we literally drop off gifts at their homes. It feels fake. I don't want to do it. My husband insists. And she just asks if anybody else is struggling with this and any tips.
Okay. So I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, do they have kids? Or maybe we don't know the answer to these things.
Yeah. So she says that they do drop off things for her kids, but they always give more. And also her thing, she says, I don't want to teach my kids that's what the holidays are about. Like just dropping gifts. Like okay. I get that. Like
so this couple does have kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And the people are giving them gifts in return?
Yeah. Yes, but she says they end up giving more. Okay. And also she just hates they don't talk to each other. Like they obviously don't interact any other time of year. And then once a year you just get like gifts just plopped at your door from people you don't know. And then you're supposed to do it back to them. It's like, can't we just it feels fake. I get that.
Oh, okay, I understand.
It's just like, we don't have a relationship. So what are we doing here? What is this? Let's just all save money.
But the husband... Mm-hmm. And we don't know his colors.
No.
You didn't put it. Okay. But the husband is basically insisting that every year we drop off these gifts to these few families that we barely see.
Yes.
All right. I mean, okay. I get that.
You do?
On the other side.
On his side?
No, on the wife's
her side?
Yeah. Because if it was my idea and I was doing if it was my idea and I was doing it, right. I guess I wouldn't have a problem. But if you told me we got to drop off some gifts for some strangers, I probably would be freaking out.
Yeah, like if it was my idea, I'd be like, Scott, you'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But if it was your idea, I think, no, it depends. Because I'd be like, Scott, what is this? Like, do we talk to, I feel like we could talk about it.
Yeah, I mean.
It depends where we were at in our life. I'm trying to think of like all the chapters of our life together.
I would be probably fighting to try to get rid of this tradition.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, you ever have that tradition where, like, let's say it's like a mutual holiday, and then someone, and your gift is like, all right, we got to get each other gifts. And, like, someone gets you, let's say, a $50 gift card, and you got to get them a $50 gift card.
Right.
I, like, hate that. Because it's like, well, why don't I just get myself a $50 gift card to where I want it to be?
Right.
You know, like, here, I'll get you a $50 gift card to Macy's. You get me a $50 gift card to, like, Bonefish Grill. Like, okay, like,
that's why a lot of families do, like, they'll pick out of a hat, you buy for one person, or they'll do, like, White Elephant. Like, everyone brings a gift, and they, it's like that Office episode. Like that. So a lot of families, like, do try to change it around like that because it's, one, expensive, and two, the inauthenticity of it. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
It's like superfluous.
I would try to end that. Like, I would, like, kind of talk to especially if they're not exchanging with you and you're just dropping off gifts.
Yeah.
Then forget it. That's over. But if it's like, they are getting you things, but, like, they're kind of, like, not great things.
Her husband sounds, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, I would say, like, he's doing the blue ego mindset holiday thing that I just talked about earlier.
Okay.
Where he's probably just so inundated by the 3D need to people please and fit into the narrative and make sure that, he doesn't want to be the one that ends it because then he's the bad guy. And when you have a blue aura, you're the one, that's bad. Like, you don't want to feel like you're the one that ended it. And So that's probably where he's at. It's just he'd rather spend the money than spend the emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
At this time in his life. Okay. Whereas his wife, like, she's blue to go, so she totally has come to terms, which we all do, like when we kind of do more self work and we're blue or indigo. Like what happens is like yeah, I know that somebody could see it that way, but I also value my authenticity over the narrative other people have. Like I don't need to borrow that for my self-worth anymore. So it's less important to me what they think. And if I say something really nice, like, hey guys, I really love you, I want to spend, or another thing they could do is just maybe get together. Like maybe that's like better.
I mean, that's why I have so many questions here. Yeah, I have so many. Oh, that's a good point. I actually hold that thought for a second. But yeah, I have so many questions here, like about this exchange. Yeah. I need before I make a full assessment. I need more details.
It sounds like they just drop them off.
Yeah, and I get. Yeah, I just need a little more detail to make a full assessment. But I am leaning towards the wife, and I would be the one that would be like, "Hey guys, like, you want to end it this year?" I would do it nicely, but I'd just be like, hey, do you guys want to end this?
Yeah, no, I think the other thing is, like, she's the one that's in charge of buying the gifts.
Okay.
And because she was asked, let your husband do it. And then she says, if he did it, he would just give them the cash, like a lot of cash.
There's like cash in an envelope and leave it on their doorstep?
So for her, it's like not only does she have to not agree with it, she's out shopping for all these people because it's probably cheaper than just giving stacks of cash instead of, get the candle or whatever she's giving everybody. I don't know.
I have somebody, I really do have a lot of questions.
It's weird. It's like, I get that. It's super inauthentic because you got to text somebody like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you since last Christmas. What are your kids' sizes? I don't know. What do they want?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. If she's listening, and again, it's anonymous, so we don't know who it is. Just please tell us what these, give us all the details. Like tell us what gifts are these, all the details you could think of. But all right, going to the holiday party now.
Yes,
let's go there.
Okay.
Now, let's say you have some people that are kind of like these gifts at the holiday party.
Okay.
Meaning like they're kind of like they've been coming for years, but you don't they're kind of like the gift. Like they've been coming for years.
Oh my God,
but
this is hysterical.
Yeah, but you don't really see them during the year.
Okay.
And they just come to your holiday party. And I haven't seen you since the last holiday party.
Yes.
Are they still allowed to be on this holiday party guest list?
Okay. That's a great question.
Okay.
So you do a holiday party.
Right.
Let's say you do a holiday party every year.
Right.
Okay. Or let's say you're an invitee to a holiday party every year.
Right.
You don't talk to these people any other time of year. Do you still have to go? Or when you host it, do you still have to invite them?
Exactly.
Like, because now that seems weird. Yeah. Like, is it just a Christmas relationship or a Hanukkah relationship or like whatever you celebrate relationship? That's weird. New Year's relationship.
So what do you do in that situation? I feel like I'm really Scroogey this episode, but...
Me too. I feel like I am too.
Really?
I'm just so sick of it. Like, I don't know if this year's different than other years. It feels like they're shoving more crap down our throat than they ever have.
I agree. And I think... and I'll tell you what. I still think I have a spiritual hangover from last week's episode about the cults. Those crazy cult people. The twin flame cult. So I think it's soured my mood. For even this week. And then,
really?
Yeah. And then,
Oh, we got to get our vibe back up.
We got to get our vibe back up.
Okay, what do you like about this time of year? What do you like about this time of year? Let's change it. Change it up.
All right, let's end on a positive note.
Let's be positive.
I was going to go on to another negative thing about how many ads I see in a day, but...
meanwhile... I do ads. We have the ads on the podcast.
True. Sorry, guys. Well, yeah, there's 4 for this episode.
Yeah.
So... They say like the average person sees like hundreds of ads a day.
Oh, really?
Something like that. So we added 4 to your total if you listen. But all right, let's change it. Think positive. Okay, so what do I like?
You want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay, because this is really hard for you.
Yes.
I really like decorating. I really do. I love decorating with the kids and you. I like putting on music and I like putting up ornaments that we've had forever.
I love that.
I love reminiscing as we put things around the house. I like the little things I forgot from last year that I remember when I see something, I take it back out this year. I like that part.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that too. I'll piggyback on that as well. So any place we go, we usually get an ornament. We get a mug and an ornament.
Yeah.
And this year we got some really cool, we went some cool places like Gig Harbor, Washington, Alaska. And I keep those ornaments in a special place now because sometimes we lose them before it becomes.
All right, I lost one, and I feel awful, and the family will never forgive me.
That was a big loss. That was a St. Augustine.
I lost the St. Augustine ornament.
Ghost hunting tour that we did.
Such a good one. It was so funny looking.
I know, it was so good. And we don't know where it is. But so I keep them in a special place.
Yes.
On my bear lamp. And then I bring those down, and those always go to the top of the tree.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's this. I think we must have told this story before on the podcast. If we didn't, I don't know what we were thinking. But we have this little tiny kitty ornament.
Oh, yeah.
That goes on the top of the tree.
Yes.
And that was the ornament that I gave to you when I did my fake out. When we got engaged. So just to recap this, we must have told the engagement
we've already told this story.
I dressed up as Santa, bought toys for all the kids, and then I had this little box. I just thought it'd be funny that had I got this tiny little kitty ornament, and I put it in this box, and this is like I present you with the box, and it's the like everyone's oh my God, everyone's watching, everybody's watching.
Scott's talking about when he proposed to me.
Yeah, when I proposed.
Okay, like main sentence. When Scott proposed to me, it was Christmas Eve. Continue.
Right, on Christmas Eve, and I was dressed up as Santa, and I gave kids the presents, and then I had this little box, which was meant to look like a ring
box.
A ring box.
Yeah.
So I presented it, and then you opened it, and you're like, oh
thanks.
Thanks. And you probably thought it. I was hoping, for a split second, you would think that would be the end of it.
That's not nice.
I know. Did you or not?
No. I was like, okay.
You just thought it was one of my jokes?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't really remember. It was such a blur because everybody was there, and it was what's happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people there, so I was hoping the idea was that they would think, oh, that was so nice. He got this nice little ornament. But then, a minute later, I pulled out the ring and proposed, and But so we always put that little. That's our favorite ornament.
So you like that part?
Yeah, I like that part.
That's sentimental.
Yeah,
that's nice.
It's my blue coming out, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, Scott.
I like that.
And then
and then probably right after this podcast, after we finish taping, we're going to do our annual what we call the Christmas S-Buy, SH blank T. We want to keep the episode friendly. So we do that every year.
Yeah.
So we do.
We get all our little extras, lights for outside,
things we need, or just a nice knick-knack or something to commemorate this year. So
I want to get a festive outdoor pillow. I really do. And the other thing I like about this time of year is I love our gift exchange, our holiday gift exchange, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it yet, but you say you have a gift that's going to win.
I won.
Did you order it yet?
No.
Okay.
But I know I won.
Okay.
So just to surmise, every year we do, and I want everybody to do this at home because again, it's really fun. It doesn't break the bank, and it's kind of like the meaning of Christmas. Although we put our little funny spin on it, you can do one that's more sentimental if you want. But we always pick a theme, and this year it's holiday food gift. And it's a competition, of course. Yes. and we set a $50 limit on it this year, shipping included. And Scott and I will each get each other a holiday food gift, and we have a rubric for whoever wins. And first the children decide, and then you all will decide. I'll put it up on Christmas morning, and then you can decide who won. But it's going to be a holiday treat. Okay. So I'm really excited.
Yes, and just to let everyone know, I've won 3 out of the last 4 years.
I always say this.
So, and then we did have to change the rules.
Yeah.
So that the loser gets to pick the idea for this year. And this is your pick, the holiday food. Holiday food. And all right, I think I can win this one.
I like that part though, because that always makes Christmas morning a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because we get to see who won, and we always make each other just cry. We're laughing so hard. So it's just funny. So that's what I like about this time of year.
All right. So we do have some positives to leave you with. We've been very negative the last 2 weeks.
But. I'm gonna make it better, guys. I'm sorry. I think I had my own energy drain out and fatigue, and then I guess I take it out on the podcast. Sorry.
All right.
Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this podcast is for you and about you, and we're so glad you all spent some time with us today.
Hello, podcast fans. If you're looking for a new podcast, if you enjoy articles, books, pop culture, and hilarity, try listening to the Brain Candy Podcast.
That's right. The Brain Candy Podcast has over 500 episodes of educational hilarity to satiate your learning needs. Just search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app or click the link in the show notes.